Hi folks, today I wanted to take you on a tour of what I call electrical connectors, and by that I want you to notice that these are not oriented north-south. I don't think this is human technology. This is how it looks lit up. All the lines connect to these same things. None of these are repeated. And that's worth repeating. None of these are the same. This is what I like to call a dam. You can see that there was once water here. Notice that the dam itself is made out of some kind of metal. And you've got the connecting lines. So I think the water itself, if you'll notice, green water, I have to think that it's copper infused. But that's not a connector. This is. This is what I like to call the cross in Texas. And notice it has open areas here. Like this. This is what I like to call the Ark of the Covenant. And I think this is a representation of what is actually happening inside an electrical arc. I think this is plasma technology, and it's done with water. See, there's another well. And the plasma would arc across these open areas and would be visible from altitude. Some of this stuff I have not highlighted, just to show you that these are not fenced in areas. This is part of the land itself. And yes, there are some homesteads built on these. It's a nice clear area, and they've actually, some of them have used these cleared out areas, and it must be easy because they're already marked. But none of them are the same. Notice this is not on a north-south plane at all. Nothing like humans would do it at all. This is in the Pyramid Book area. This is about as regular as it gets. And even this is not repeated anywhere else. You'll have a square with a small section on this side and a larger section on this side. It's very, very strange to me. I don't understand it, but I am probably one of quite a few people who don't understand alien technology. Again, you see the open areas. I think these were intended to actually arc across, creating a plasma extrusion, a bit of a light show. Maybe they're sort of timers. Notice how these lines actually connect. And this is just baffling to me. I can't imagine what they would be if they were not electrically configured. This is what I call pointing the way, and it actually looks like an angel figure, wings and everything, and he's pointing the way. And this line actually continues for about 100 miles. This is just what I like to call just face connectors. They have, some of them have antenna, but you'll notice that this is the ground itself. It's not a fencing at all. It's just that some of the owners have used the configurations that are already existing. Again, these are all north and south, by the way. I did not flip them around and try to confuse anybody by trying to make them look like something they're not. This actually looks like a face to me. Again, another face, maybe some kind of a character. Who knows? You know, this looks like a shield to me, and a guy with a top hat. But up here, that's not fencing at all. That is the ground, as are the dark lining, and apparently they're easy to use for some kind of a post marker. It's just part of it that's gone now. You can see that not all owners are as concerned with the existing environment. This is Texas, you know, home of fracking. But this has to be some kind of an electrical connector. All the lines connect with this. And notice, none of them are repeated, but they're all part of an art, if not an art themselves. This, for all intents and purposes, looks like a guy's face. And this is the most regular connector that I've seen out here in Marfa, and it's a rectangle. But notice, none of them are the same, and hardly any of them are configured on a north-south. They all have water wells that are part of the feature. Here's your water wells. I don't know what to call these, other than some are faces, some are tools, some might be some kind of a symbols representing robots. Who knows? But some of them are actual art in and of themselves, and they have to represent something, because they're all different, every single one of them. And I have to challenge any electrical engineer to tell me how this is not an electrical connector of some sort. It actually, I think it's a timer, because it would allow the plasma to build up and then extrude in one or two areas where they wanted to create a spark show. And notice I didn't highlight all of the lines there, just so that you can tell that I'm not trying to make something where it isn't. This is obviously man-made. I have to think that this is just a representation of some kind of a face, possibly. Again, all of these pictures are oriented in a north-south configuration, but you can tell that some of these, the lines are simply gone; they no longer exist. All of these are where these lines connect. This is the same in Nazca as it is in Marfa, Texas here. And you'll notice like open doors, they're part of the ground. They're not a gate at all. And you'd have to think that some of these just would extrude a plasma ball at intervals. This one I like to call a factory for some reason. It looks like a factory to me. Like something goes in and there's a representation of the chimney stack where smoke is coming out. But again, there's the water well. These are all electrical connectors. I have no idea. I know that humans never had this technology. And if we did, we would have probably destroyed it. It's amazing, isn't it? They're just simply connecting lines. This is one of the places where I originally started here. Now look at this. This looks like a representation of a hand. And this particular one is tricky in and of itself because I think the finger is touching this button and coming off. So this had to be a timer of some sort. This is the whole configuration. See the hand, the thumb, the finger, the button. This looks like a big knife. And I have to call this a hand with a cutting tool. And I wonder if this is what they actually used to cut stone with. Everybody wonders how it was done at Mazatlan, at any of the megalithic sites. I have to think that this is the tool that they used. It was an electric tool with a button, and this was almost like a neon finger. It would come on and off the button. Very funny. Now this is in particular for any electrical engineer who doesn't mind working with Anu and Simian representations. Because that's what this is. This is a Simian representation. There's Anu with the small nose, human with the big nose, big eye, human eye, round eye. I would dearly like to help anybody who is willing to tell me how these things work. And I'll leave you here in Saskatchewan, as I always do. Thank you for your views.